everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I am Dan.
And coming up today, we're going to talk about, the Olympics.
The Olympics were,
And belief. Belief in sports.
faith.
Faith.
Can it,
sports.
Can it help you throw a ball? It can't.
Yeah.
It can't help Frank. Unfortunately, his ball throwing skills are legendarily...
That ship sailed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Boy, disappointed dad, let me tell you.
Poor guy.
Sports-loving man.
Poor Frank Sr.
Little queer kid came along.
Actually, Frank the Third. Poor Frank the Third.
He's nothing. He didn't take a number. They didn't give him a number.
What? Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
Which is weird.
we'll talk about that coming up at the end of the show.
Whole thing's weird.
Yes, indeed. But to start us off,
Yeah?
I'll start us off.
Oh!
Dateline Philadelphia,
Ooh.
the city of brotherly love.
Ooh,
Which I didn't,
yeah.
which I didn't know until recently is actually the meaning of the word Philadelphia.
Whoa.
I had no idea that that's what that meant.
Wow, feel... Yeah,
It's
okay.
like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, it is the city of brotherly love, and the new brothers in town are the Mormons.
Oh, really?
I mean, they're not new to Philadelphia. They've
Okay.
been there, but it's a very, very small group in Philly. They do not have a large population in
Really?
Philadelphia. Yeah.
No. Okay.
It's very small.
Okay.
However, they do have a new temple downtown.
Really?
Prime real estate in Philadelphia.
Weird. Downtown?
Yeah.
They don't do that.
No, they're not doing the try to actually impress anybody thing anymore. So this is this is like an interesting new thing that they're doing.
So high profile?
High profile, and
What?
and so that's made some headlines. People are actually liking the design of it. It's not great. It's fine. It's sort of a standard Mormon temple design,
Okay.
but people are liking it. And of course, one thing that the Mormons do is that before they dedicate a temple, they let people, even non-Mormons without temple recommends, walk through it, and they get to see the beauty
That's just
of
gorgeous.
the temple.
Temples are... They spend a lot of money
They do spend a lot of money.
to make the nicest hotel lobby you've ever walked into.
Oh yeah, it's like the most upscale Marriott you've ever seen in your life. Nothing too amazing, but they're rumored to have spent upwards of $100 million.
What?
But guess what?
What?
And this is not what's getting a lot of press.
Okay.
It's more than just the temple. They bought a lot of downtown property, and now they've built basically a whole complex. Now, the way the Mormons will work it won't all be it won't feel connected, because the temple will always feel like its own thing.
Right.
But they've also built a ward house, a church meeting house.
Okay.
And then a residential high-rise building and some commercial spaces.
What?
Yep.
What?
Mormons know how to make money, kids. So
They make it, excuse me, they're making it back.
it's going to pay for itself.
Did they build a mall? Did they build a $2 billion mall?
No, not in this one. But yes, there will be. And a lot of people who are aware of this are thinking that it's I think they're thinking that it's just for Mormons, like only Mormons are going to live in this thing. No. That's not how the Mormons
They don't care
work.
about that.
No, they just want to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they've got the prime real estate, they've got the beautiful temple, and some
lovely.
some condo spaces.
And is it but you said that the community there isn't terribly large, the Mormon community.
No, it's not.
So
here's an interesting thing, though.
Normally that means you don't get a big temple.
Right. Here, somebody pointed out, and I think this is interesting. Philadelphia has the fastest growing millennial population among the nation's 10 largest cities.
It does?
Yeah.
Huh.
So one wonders if this isn't meant as an outreach to young folk.
A millennial grab?
Yeah. It won't work, but that may be what they're trying. They're trying some new strategies.
Okay. Maybe if they let people play Pokemon on the
Right, yes.
on the temple grounds.
Let me tell you something. Pokemon the Salt Lake Temple grounds are the best place to do Pokemon in Salt Lake City.
I've heard. Somebody at work was like freaking out because he caught some crazy dragon at the temple.
I tried.
Well, not at the temple, but on Temple Square.
Yeah, I'm at some point I'm gonna take the gym that is the temple. The temple itself is a gym. I'm gonna take it.
Do you think the Mormons play Pokemon in the temple?
You know, somebody's
in the locker room.
Somebody's totally doing it.
Running through. Get on the elevator and
a Squirtle. I found a Squirtle in the temple. Yay!
In the middle of the ceremony.
A Pikachu in the baptismal font.
Oh, he's here doing the Lord's work.
He's doing the Lord's Pikachu, I baptize you for and in the name of Jose. All right.
Who doesn't have a last name, but was born in 1500.
Right.
All right. Well, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about the Christian pastors in Illinois who are suing the state? Have you heard this one?
Suing the state.
They're suing the state of Illinois because Illinois is one of a handful of states that has passed a ban on conversion therapy for gay youth.
Oh,
right?
And they're suing to be able to do it.
They're suing to be able to do it. They're claiming harm, right?
Oh,
they're saying that they should be exempt from the law.
Right.
That bans counselors from trying to change a minor's sexual orientation because it violates their constitutional right to free speech and exercise of religion. To be the worst, most horrifying.
Proven not to work, proven to do damage.
Yes.
What? You are infringing on my right to do damage to gay people.
To do damage to kids. To commit child abuse.
You are infringing on my constitutional right to hurt these children.
Yes.
How dare you?
What is this country coming to?
Honestly, God. It's a mess. It's a damned mess that we can't... You know what? Will someone tell me what kind of a world it is we live in?
Well,
when a pastor can't harm a child with impunity.
I know.
Honestly.
I know. According to, this is a quote from Equality Illinois' executive director. Says faith leaders remain free to say what they want from the pulpit, regardless of how misguided it may be. And the law in the state and federal constitution protect that right. That was not changed by this law.
Right.
So how claiming infringement of religious freedom? They can, from the pulpit, they can say what awful, horrible things they want to about gay people.
Right.
They just can't get in a room with a gay kid and fuck with their brain.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, for those in states where this is still allowed, just be aware that there was a big landmark ruling not too long ago on this very subject out of New Jersey.
Uh-uh.
And that found that, this is not okay. It is not an okay thing to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe if you were subjected to it, you could sue.
Me? No.
I'm saying you, the listener.
Oh.
Ye out there. If you were subjected to gay conversion therapy.
Yeah, go for it.
Go sue their asses.
Get that shit done. Pastor Stephen Schultz of New Church Apostolic Ministries in Chicago. That's NU.
Oh, new
hyphen church.
Like new skin.
Church. New church.
Yeah.
New church. He says, I have personally witnessed many people change their sexual orientation through counseling and know it is possible. The government is interfering into someone's private decisions. This ban, it was caught in the crease where the staple was. This ban on counseling creates fear in the people most in need of comfort and support. On his church's website, homosexuality is listed as part of Satan's plan.
Okay.
To quote spoil the younger generation so that their lives are tainted and they are of no use to the Lord.
You're spoiled, Frank.
Well,
you've been spoilt.
keep on spoiling, boys. That's all I'm saying.
Spoil away. You're of no use to the Lord, though.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one to see how...
Are they just saying that the Lord's not gay? So of what use could you be when you're straight?
Well, when you've strayed from the Lord, you're of no use to him. And that's what homosexuality does, apparently.
I'm just saying, apparently I am still of use to the Lord? I don't want to be of use to the Lord.
No, you've strayed. You just strayed in a different way.
Okay.
He's saying that homosexuality is so tempting to young people.
I think you're of a lot of use to the Lord. I mean, honestly, who asks people to get on their knees more than God? You know what I'm saying? Well, all right, moving on.
A little JBJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus blowjob.
Who would Jesus blow? So, a Dateline. I'm going to take us now to Arkansas.
Yeah.
The Arkansas. I think we may have reported on this. The Arkansas legislature recently passed a bill. That was last year, allowing religious displays on the grounds of the state capitol. Those idiots.
Yes.
Who
indeed
apparently haven't been paying attention.
We don't do this anymore.
That's right. So they want to install a Ten Commandments monument. Of course they do.
Good.
And just this past week, the American History and Heritage Foundation, Inc., filed. They put in their application to get that thing up there.
Good on them.
$25,000 of
granite,
3 tons.
Fantastic.
Big old Ten Commandments.
Fantastic. As it should be. Get it up there.
But as we have learned now, you don't get to do that without that being followed by a much better act, which is the Satanic Temple, who have a statue lying around ready to go.
They made it for Oklahoma.
And they haven't finished there, and Oklahoma just sort of dropped the issue quietly, seemingly.
Right.
Or at the very least, they're
waiting for it to get into use.
Or they're behind closed doors trying desperately to figure out how can we do it so they can't do it, but we can do ours, and they still haven't sorted it yet.
Well, they can sell that little parcel of land to a church.
To a church, right. Exactly. But they know for a fact that then the Satanic Temple would sue to have a parcel of land sold to them.
Oh, that would be glorious.
Yeah. These guys are so smart. So anyway, they, of course, have now filed their application to get their thing on, to get their Baphomet statue.
Excellent.
Put up there.
Wonderful.
And what I love is that they were asked what placement they wanted. And they gave this response. So they've sort of ranked the placement that they want. They've given 3 options, and they've ranked them. For option 1, they said, next to the proposed Ten Commandments monument on its left, within 20 feet. Or next to the proposed Ten Commandments monument on its right, within 20 feet. Or, third option, totally viable, directly in front of the proposed Ten Commandments monument within 1 foot.
They're just assholes.
They're just... I love it. I love it. Apparently,
that's brilliant.
The local point of contact for the Satanic Temple in Arkansas is Jeff Matika, who has been playing with the band Green Day for the past several years.
Okay.
So there you go. He's the front man. He's the guy that they're dealing with.
Fantastic. And so getting the other lords' work done. Getting the Dark Lord's work done.
Doing the Dark Lord's work. Hail Satan. I fucking love those guys. They are the smartest people.
That's amazing. So Dan.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered getting a vanity plate for your car?
I've thought of it.
Yeah,
sure.
What would you do? Like, which direction would you go with your vanity, your vainness?
Oh, I don't know.
No?
I thought about it when I was a kid. When I was like a teenager, I was like, ooh, it should say like Dr. Dan or, just something stupid like that.
What about like actor?
Actor. I think that one's taken. And also, that's horrible. Also, that's an awful thing. I probably wouldn't get one. Or if I did, it would. I don't know. It would be some code.
Would you want to maybe flaunt your atheism?
No, but I know guys who do here in the state. I know a guy who has, the plate atheist.
Right. Well, there was a woman in New Jersey who applied for the vanity plate 8 theist.
Ah.
Right. So
meaning she believes in 8 gods.
Yes, indeed. But she was denied.
Oh.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so she sued.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting, how much did they end up giving her? Like $7,500 or something like that?
I think I remember we reported on this, yeah.
$75,000 to resolve her claim, actually.
Okay.
And
did she get the plate as well?
Well, now all the settlement and everything has gone through in federal court. And so the lawsuit it's all done. She gets her 8 theist license plate and a check for $75,000. And,
which will probably mostly just cover her legal fees.
Probably. And she, because of this, the State Motor Vehicle Commission is willing to issue the following vanity plates or combinations that are substantially similar.
Okay.
Secular. Rational.
I like it.
Humanist.
Wow.
Humanist. Atheism, godless, heathen, heretic, skeptic, blasphemer, reason, evolve, trans.
Oh, wow. Nothing to do with it, but still good.
LGBTRTS.
LGBT trans. Like TRTS?
TRTS. I don't know.
RTS.
I don't know what that is.
Wow.
LGBTQ, pride, queer, gay power, LGBT ally.
Nice.
Feminism, feminist. I don't know what that one is.
Feminist.
They just left out the I. Oh, clever. Equality and for women.
Nice.
So that's now happening in the state of New Jersey, thanks to the good work of, what was her name? Should we say her name? Let's say her name. Where's her name? Morgan.
Okay.
Is her last name.
Okay.
Where's her first name?
Miss Morgan.
Miss Morgan.
She did great.
Anyway, when she initially applied for the vanity plate, atheist.
Yeah.
The message that because she applied on the website.
Sure.
Which just automatically rejected it. And the website said that it was ineligible as it may carry connotations offensive to good taste and decency.
See, yeah.
Okay.
This is a problem.
And then she decided, well, what happens if I put in the word Baptist?
Of course.
And it went right through.
Yep.
So poo-poo on those bastards.
I'll say, I will say this.
It's all fixed up now, folks. So.
Apropos of the last story that I just did.
Yeah.
It didn't list Satanist as one of the ones that would be okay.
Satanist.
Or just Satan.
Satan.
Baphomet. That's. I'm just gonna walk around pronouncing every time anything doesn't have a vowel. Every time they skip a vowel, like, yeah, whatever.
Well, like secular. That's hard to say, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Just spell things that have 7 letters or fewer.
Right. Yeah. All right, I'm moving on. I'm going to get political here. Donald Trump.
Yeah?
The Republican nominee, the horrifying Republican nominee for president of the United States of America. I don't care. You know, we have conservative listeners, but if you're not horrified by this man, fuck it. Don't even listen to our show anymore. I don't want you.
Dan!
You need to be, everybody needs to be horrified by this man. Everybody needs to be.
Well, you are horrified. I'm horrified. It seems like most people are horrified, even if they're just playing the political move, which is they think there's something, they're getting something out of supporting him.
Yeah.
You know, like the leaders of the Republican Party who have no spine, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, he's a terrifying, terrifying man.
Anywho, so Donald Trump. I'm kidding. You can still listen to the show if you support Donald Trump, but you've got some major soul searching you need to be doing. Anyway, Donald Trump recently was talking to a room full of evangelical Christian pastors.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
how do they stand the man?
Whatever. They're just in it for the political power at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even think that they care about anything. But he was talking to them, and one of the things that he was saying was, "You got to help me.
Okay.
I need your people to vote.
Right.
You got to get your people out to vote."
Yeah. Okay.
And one of the specifics that he brought up was, I'll just read the quote. "You got to get your people out to vote, and especially those in states where we're represented. We're having a tremendous problem in Utah. Utah's a different place. Is anybody here from Utah?" To which the crowd just laughed.
Because they're like, no, we fucking hate Mormons.
Well, not only that, but like, yeah, there's not going to be any help from evangelicals in Utah
to get the Mormon vote.
Yeah, nope.
Oh, he doesn't know anything.
Afraid not, Donnie. You have misread the room yet again. Yeah. So this of course led to some fun tweets. People like saying the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Evangelicals. Nope, doesn't exist. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's not much more to say about it. I just thought that was hilarious that, because if you know anything about the Mormon, first of all, if you know anything about Utah, it's all Mormons. Like what he's looking for is Mormons only.
Right.
There are a couple of evangelicals here, but it's like this tiny percentage.
Right. Well, his problem clearly is that he doesn't understand who makes up the conservative religious right and what the differences are in those groups.
Right.
Because
churchy is
Mormons
churchy to
are
him.
not evangelical.
No.
Like, at all.
No.
Like, not in their worldview, and clearly not in their theology.
Right.
But, like, they don't make good bedfellows.
No. And the evangelicals, as you said,
priorities.
hate the Mormons.
Yeah.
Don't even acknowledge them as Christians most of the time.
Right.
Like, so yes, he's calling on a bunch of people who hate Mormons to help him in a state where about 3% of the population is evangelical,
so where they have
Protestant.
absolutely no influence.
Yeah, so
and they know they don't have any influence because they've tried for a really long time,
right,
to deconvert Mormons to their brand of Christianity.
Right, it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work.
No.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Yeah. So apparently, churchy equals churchy to Drumpf.
Well. Amazing that you just shared that story, Dan.
Yeah. Because
the tie-in to my last story is fantastic. It has to do with this letter that Hillary Clinton wrote, op-ed or whatever, that was published in the Deseret News this last week.
The Deseret News being the Mormon-owned newspaper here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Owned by the church.
Right.
Because you could also say the Tribune's Mormon-owned. It's just owned by a Mormon.
Right.
But nonetheless. But anyway.
There's a big difference between owned by a Mormon who's still going to, like, hopefully keep it journalistically accurate.
Right, exactly.
And owned by the Mormon Church.
Which doesn't give a flying fig about journalism and all that.
Right.
Anyway, so the Deseret News has sort of put this out there to all the political major presidential candidates to share their views with their readers. They've offered this up. So they're actually going to be running an op-ed from Gary Johnson,
right?
Who's doing libertarian candidate
pretty well here in Utah,
doing okay, running about 13% of the vote at the moment.
Yeah,
but Hillary Clinton responded and was more than happy to write this letter. Trump has not responded. probably, who knows? He probably won't send in a letter.
No.
But what she does with her moment in front of the Mormons is very deftly call upon their history and make ties to people who are just universally admired by Mormons in general, including John Huntsman, who she talks about the work that she did with him when he was the ambassador in Beijing.
That's right.
John Huntsman, the former governor of Utah, wildly popular former governor of Utah.
Right.
And former Republican presidential candidate who didn't stand a chance in hell because he's too moderate.
Right.
But the fact that they stood in solidarity, quote, in solidarity with Chinese Christians facing prosecution from their government. She mentions Thomas Jefferson, who Mormons cannot get enough of, usually. Let's see, she calls on, listen to Mitt Romney, she says.
Yes.
She actually even talks about how our current governor, Gary Herbert, has sort of broken away from a lot of other really conservative Republican states in our response to immigration, in particular with Muslim immigration. Gary Herbert said Muslims are absolutely welcome in Utah. We'll take any refugee from anywhere. It doesn't matter. Salt Lake City being one of the nation's 10 resettlement cities.
Right.
And she really just kind of goes through it, and she espouses the values that are so common in Mormonism.
Right.
And I don't know how many votes she's going to get out of it, but I hit the comment section just looking for people freaking out, and it was so civil. It was unbelievable.
Really?
It was, she may still not get my vote, but I'm really glad to see that she's put thought into blah, 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 blah. This was reasoned and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was remarkable. There was one part.
You have to understand, folks, that Mormons hate Trump.
Oh, my God.
He's the opposite of everything Mormons. Like, culturally, Mormons cannot abide a braggart or someone who lives extravagantly.
Yeah, conspicuous consumption there's some problems with it in Mormon culture.
And so Mormons have not responded well. So he'll win this state, but it should be a landslide in this state.
He's polling at about 45% of the vote in Utah.
Right.
It's just the presence of Gary Johnson that's keeping him from being over 50% at the moment.
But still, this is a state where he should handily take 75%.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that it's shocking how few votes, how narrow the margin is going to be.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see as we get close, after the debates happen. Right.
Yes.
Because we were talking about this earlier, that debates are kind of going to be that pivotal moment for a lot of voters at this point.
Right.
If they're going to, where they're going to land on this whole thing. But it's as we get closer to November, it's Utah. I mean, some people have said it might actually swing to Hillary if Gary Johnson can siphon away enough votes and Trump becomes really, truly that unpopular.
Right. It's amazing. The gap is narrowing slightly. Yeah. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to watch. I mean,
Utah has not voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964.
I'm surprised that it. Well, yeah, I'm surprised that it's that recent.
Democratic.
Utah, but
from time to time it did.
It's been a while. I mean, we're used to being the reddest of the red states,
and right now we're not shining that red.
We are pink.
Yeah,
pink. I tell you.
Shouldn't it be more purple? I don't.
No.
As you gravitate toward blue.
Nope.
Or is the center white?
Yeah.
The center appears to be white.
It just depends on who's making the infographic. Right now, the only one I care about is on 538. So,
because they're amazing.
That makes us pink. We're not light pink. We're just pink.
No. A nice
A salmon.
salmon.
Maybe
yeah,
a coral.
Oh, coral's just a beautiful color.
Isn't it just lovely?
Oh, my God. I'm going to do my whole house in coral
And maybe a
little bit of mauve.
Sure. A dusty rose. Anyway, if you'd like to give us some tips on the colors we should paint our houses, you feel free to write into us or talk about any of our other things that we've been talking about.
There were other things mentioned.
We might have mentioned a few other things. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
All right, we're going to play you some audio. This is that nasty Brian Fisher.
Oh,
what a douche.
He's a peach, isn't he? He's so cute.
Is he now?
He's going to say stuff that'll make you mad.
Let's tack up. Okay. We got, he's a racist, right?
Oh, sure.
He's a gay-hating homophobe.
Well, that's just natural. That just comes with the job of being a Christian broadcaster.
And there's many more, but let's also add a woman hater.
You think? Let's test that theory.
And I think you can make a pretty good biblical case. That's what I happen to believe. You know, I'm not saying that there's one verse in the Bible you can go to that says definitively that only men are supposed to hold political office, but that's always the pattern in the Word of God. The kings were all males. When you had a departure from that with Jezebel and Athaliah was not a good thing, did not work out well. Leadership in the church is reserved for men. Leadership in the home is reserved for men. In other words, in God's economy, He has designed leadership and authority in society and in the church and in the home to be exercised by men. You know, you had one female judge, that was Deborah, and she only got sucked into that because the men were such wimps. And she told them, look, because of the way you're going about this, you're dragging me into this war to be your kind of lucky rabbit's foot. And because you're doing it that way, the honor for this battle is going to go to a woman. You've given up your opportunity to receive the honor that justly goes to warriors who vindicate themselves on the field of battle. So I think you can make a good case that leadership in culture, society, politically, as well as in the home, that is something in God's economy that's reserved for men. Now, I understand that there are Christians out there who disagree with me. I'm not speaking for anybody but myself. You know, when I've verbalized these things before, I've just gotten blistered. I mean, I know a little bit about what Jeremy's talking about, is that I just get blistered for saying this anytime it happens. So maybe Jeremy's wondering, what if somebody had the courage, you know, to go on national TV, somebody of some kind of prominence or visibility, and said, look, I'm going to vote for Trump because he's a man. I don't believe that women should be entrusted with high political office. See what would happen to him. That's a position I happen to take. Nobody's asked me what I think about that. But his question is, what happens if somebody says that in public? And my guess is they would get crucified to within an inch of their very lives.
Blistered.
He's going
to get blistered.
If only
the heat's going to be turned up so hot.
If only someone had the courage to say,
because the horrible Bronze Age ideas.
Right. Here's the thing. If there's one thing Trump has done, it's given people the courage to say the really horrible, stupid thing that's in their brain.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I feel like America has been shut up. The really horrifying fringes of America. I've made this point before. It's been a while. But the fringes knew they didn't have any traction.
Right.
And they knew that they would be eviscerated or blistered, according to Brian Fisher, for saying what was on their mind. And so he comes out and first of all, what's God's economy?
Right.
Have you ever heard this phrase before?
No.
God's economy?
God's economy. In God's economy, men lead and women sit in the back seat and make babies.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. Tend to the home.
You can't.
Tend to the children.
Stop trying to lead, women.
Why we don't want you
If you were meant to lead, you'd have a penis
to point in the direction.
to point in the correct direction. I guess they have 2 pointers, really. But breasts don't count.
Yeah, they and with age they point less.
They point down. Of course, penis. Never mind. The point is, you're a man, and a man needs to lead. And if you're a woman, just you obviously
Shut up.
shut the hell up.
And who the fuck is Deborah?
That's right. Deborah needs to shut her mouth. Shut your mouth, Deborah.
Boy, she's got some opinions about those men.
I know. They
were a bunch of pussies.
They were wimps. We can't have that. So it's I'll tell you one thing. Nobody sees Trump as a wimp.
No.
I mean, I kind of do, because like he's so easily hurt and offended. Like he's the most thin-skinned man I have seen in a long time.
He's a bully.
Yeah,
Isn't that one of the hallmarks of a bully?
is that they can't take any kind of criticism or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Well, we had some folks write into us.
Oh, did we?
And call into us.
Yes, we did.
Ian wrote into it. Actually, both of the emails I'm going to read are from Ians. We've got 2 Ians.
2 different Ians?
2 different Ians.
Both wrote in 1 week?
That's right.
Same issue?
No.
Oh.
Hey, guys. In your discussion of the call from the gay atheist who got in trouble with his friends for voicing an objection to some street preachers, you stated that while evangelicals in the story would see both gayness and atheistness as a choice, only atheism is an actual choice. I strongly disagree that atheism or any held belief is a choice to the believer. While there is some choice at play in whether someone exposes themselves to information, when faced with evidence that they would find convincing, the potential atheist has no choice but to be convinced by this evidence. That's signed Ian. There's a lot of truth to that.
I see where he's going.
You can't unring that bell.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I don't feel like I choose atheism.
No,
I feel
that's
like
true.
I feel like I'm stuck with it. Whether I like it or not. And I do like it, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to be stuck with.
But wouldn't it be nice just to enjoy Christmas for once?
Have no problems.
Yeah.
Go there, just believe it all.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Pray
the
with
only
everybody.
thing you're really deprived of.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
I think it'd be neat to be able to, like, believe all of the religions, and then you can have all of the fun things. Or maybe...
Baha'i. You could be Baha'i.
Sure.
Yeah.
But don't want to, though. I will say this. If I could choose my beliefs, I would believe only the fun parts of all of the religions.
Oh, yeah?
And then I would just ignore the sketchy parts, the parts I don't enjoy.
Good on you, Dan.
See? Wouldn't that be fun?
Wow.
Yeah. I believe in a magic daddy in the sky and that he'll give me presents and whatever. I'll believe all those things, but I can't. I can't.
It's so sad, Dan.
Yeah.
You're just depriving yourself.
I know. Well, it's that pesky evidence problem. That's tricky.
So Ian does. I also like the point that it's the choice of whether you out yourself.
Yeah, you have that
And that's
choice.
really that's where the choice is.
Right.
I mean, it's tough, with.
Well, and he also
Are you really truly a free agent and all that kind of stuff? And do you choose what you believe?
right.
Blah blah blah.
It's possible that we don't make any real choices.
Yeah, we're just hardwired for
right
this choice.
Yeah, you're hardwired and you're in an environment that you're in, and it's just you're just going to follow the path that takes.
Yeah.
There you go. He does point out also that that a lot of people who are Christians just choose choose to close their eyes in case any information might come across their way. Mm-hmm. So there is that. I mean, you do make the choice to open yourself to new information or not.
But do you have that choice?
Ken Ham seems to be pretty good at it. He makes that choice.
Do you have agency, Dan?
Well, no. Nobody has any choice. We're all just automatons walking through this earth in a fit of pretend choosing. It's a nihilist nightmare. out there in the universe, people. Don't believe anything.
Oh, no, Dan. That's the worst.
All right. Do we have a voicemail that we can play?
We do. This is a response to last week.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about dental and oral hygiene.
We did.
And we got some email or voicemails on this.
Good.
So I'm going to play one of them and see what this listener has to say.
Okay.
Frank, Dan, this is Zach from Cloudy, California. I just listened to your flossing story, and it got me thinking about something that happened to me. I was in middle school. I was in health class, and we were learning about the circulatory system, and the topic came up of why blood vessels look blue. And the explanation we got from our teacher was that blood coming to the lungs from other parts of the body was blue. And that once it got to the lungs, it became oxygenated and turned red and then went back to the other parts of the body to get some blood. And I thought this was so friggin' cool. I started looking at my arms all the time and thinking, oh man, the blue blood's going to the lungs. Anyways, flash forward to 10 years later. I'm explaining this to a friend. I've explained it to a bunch of people over the years. And I go online to get, the specifics. I want to be accurate. And, oh boy, guess what I find? It's bullshit. Blood is not blue. It is never blue. The reason that blood veins appear blue has something to do with the wavelengths through the skin, some bullshit, I don't know. But anyways, what's disturbing isn't so much that I was wrong, it's the method in which I found out that I was wrong. I was on a message board. Where this elementary school teacher had set up her students to engage with an actual cardiologist, and they were asking him questions, and the topic came up about blue blood, and the students were asking him questions about that. And this poor guy, you could tell by his answers that he was straying the line between not wanting to contradict the teacher, but also wanting to relay accurate information. And it really makes you wonder what else you quote-unquote know that you don't really know, and how growing up and becoming a person is just as much about unlearning things as it is about learning new things. Anyways, I just thought of that. So, love the show. Keep it up, you guys. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
And that's the point, isn't it? The point is, because I was taught that blood was blue in a vein and red in an artery and like that.
Well, I remember the anatomical charts, right, that have the circulatory system.
Right.
And there's the red blood that's coming
from the heart.
From the heart.
Yeah.
And the blue that's going back. And I wonder if that isn't part of where the confusion comes from.
But no, I was literally taught that whole, like in school.
Oh, yeah, no, my teacher was confused on the topic, too.
And, that's that, not to mention things like, what we learned about Columbus in history class, which was...
I'm sorry, what?
That hero of modern history.
The founder, the discoverer.
Of the Americas.
Not the founder, but the discoverer.
Right. He neither discovered the Americas, nor was he good in any... Like, he was a horrible, awful, murderous human.
What?
And
no.
And a genocidal maniac, but that's not what we learned. Anyway,
we have a holiday named after him.
Right. It's horrifying. But that's the point. I mean, like this whole, like all this stuff that we learned, it's all fake. Everything's fake. 2 + 2, that doesn't equal 4. Don't believe the hype. It's all fake.
I don't know, Dan. You might be going a step too far.
You think? Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, good.
Who knows?
Thank you, Zach.
Along the same lines, our other Ian wrote to us from London. He said, I was fascinated to hear your discussion of the flossing issue in the most recent episode of TGIA. I have had major heart surgery, and one of the ways that has impacted my life is that prior to having any dental work done whatsoever, I've had to sit in my dentist's office for an hour before an appointment, having had a dose of antibiotics due to being at risk for something called SBE, which makes your heart swell up.
What? Okay.
Yeah. He says, I've had this before and don't wish to repeat the experience. In the UK, we have something called NICE, which is the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence Guidelines.
Nice.
Which is the, right? Maybe it's pronounced Nice, like the French.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oui, oui.
Which is the benchmark for what the NHS will and won't pay for. This organization is the reason that that in the UK we don't have adverts on TV telling us to ask our physician to prescribe a particular brand of erection medicine, because generally we get what we are given. NICE balances the clinical efficacy with cost and impact across a population as a whole. And sometimes this balancing act means people don't get what they want. Expensive treatments for cancers being a good example. Cupping and woo being another. These NICE guidelines change in the face of new evidence. After many years of lingering in my dentist's office, feeling faintly sick from the antibiotics, I'm pleased to say that the evidence suggested that they have overestimated how unsafe a trip to the dentist actually was. And today I no longer need the antibiotics, which makes having my teeth looked at a lot faster.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, he says, I have long counseled that one should follow the NICE guidelines for the simple reason that it is the best advice available given the current state of knowledge. The fact that these guidelines change in the face of new facts is, I think, a strength. Anyway.
Indeed.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people look at the fact that it changes, that the scientific knowledge base changes, and go, see, it's not worth anything. It could change tomorrow, and then we'd be getting the wrong treatment.
That's how I feel about all the fad diets.
Well, that's how you should feel about all the fad diets.
You know, one comes along and has all this evidence backing it up, right?
Which is usually just misinterpretations of one study.
Right.
Yeah.
I can eat all the fat I want.
That's right.
Right. Or it's an all.
It's usually about what you have to cut out. Yeah, cut out all
I'm
sugars.
thinking of like Atkins, right?
Cut out all
Where it was
carbs.
Like, eat meat.
Right.
Eat meat, folks.
Yeah.
And it was like, and people were like, yeah, wiping the grease off the corners of their mouth. Right. Super stoked. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily a balanced diet.
Right.
But anyway.
I'm paleo myself. I'm totally paleo.
And there's paleo. Yeah.
I do that, and I do CrossFit, so I'm pretty good shape. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about it. I'm vegan paleo, so...
I know some people who do the CrossFit.
Sure.
Yeah.
CrossFit's great, as long as you shut up about it. It's awesome. It's good for you. I guess a lot of people have hurt themselves pretty badly doing it, but, whatever.
It's about form, Dan. It's all about form.
I guess so.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
She's a CrossFitter?
Well, some form of it. I know she does squats and shit.
Okay. Not really the same, but sure. She does
No, I heard
she does the SCOTUS version of CrossFit.
She has some fairly, I don't know if it's legitimately like CrossFit, but the woman, she gets in regular strenuous exercise.
All right.
That little tiny woman.
RGB, man.
Yeah.
RBG. I said it wrong. I said RGB, which is anyway.
Red, green, blue.
Right. So if you'd like to participate in our conversations, please do. You can write into us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Oh, hey, do we have some donors? We got some donors we need to thank.
Oh, we do have new donors! These people have taken us up on our offer that if you are a patron on Patreon, you can get an ad-free version of the show.
Yeah, if that's important to you.
Downloadable from Patreon.
Right. A lot of most of our patrons don't care about that, but if that's something that you do care about, it's something that we're offering.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal.
Yes.
So we have Audrey, Michael, and Zach. All took us up on that offer this week.
That's great.
So.
Thank you guys so much. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to count yourself among the numbers that appreciate our show enough to think it's worth paying a little bit for, please go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Patreon button on the right side of the screen. And then and yeah, you can sign up. It's so easy, and you just sign up for $1 an episode or what or whatever you're comfortable with, and every little bit helps a lot. So Frank, sports are happening. The sportiest
all the time.
It's the most sportiest time of the year.
Yeah.
The Olympics.
Yeah. Aside from maybe like the divers, not interested.
Those divers have some bodies on them. I'll tell you, those male divers. The female divers have great bodies too, but they're not sort of the pinnacle of what is considered female beauty necessarily.
Right.
I think, but those boy divers, Andrea was watching them and going, oh. She was,
and I have to say,
very pleased.
There's something about the synchronized dive.
Oh yeah,
it's just a special moment.
It's impressive.
Every 4 years, we get this little special moment of being able to watch synchronized diving on primetime television.
It's kind of
just marvelous.
It is an amazing thing that they do.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how you do that.
I think they practice.
Because first, you have to be able to dive, which is hard enough.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have to, do it exactly like somebody else in the exact same pace and blah, 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 blah.
Right. You got to get the same height. You got to tuck at exactly the same moment, come out of the tuck at exactly the same moment, spin at the same rate.
Unbelievable.
It is.
It's truly a marvel.
Yeah. It's almost like...
And there's two of them.
That's world-class sporting. But we're not going to hear. We're not here to talk about our favorite Olympic sports. We're here to talk about our least favorite part of the Olympic sports, which is after the divers come out of the water, and then what happens, Frank?
Well, if they are, let's see, David Budia and Steele Johnson.
Steele. Oh my.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, that's a good name for a boy who looks like that,
or for someone who's going into porn. That is. Steele Johnson? Is that what you said?
Steele Johnson.
Are you serious? That is 1,000% a porn name.
What about David Budia?
No. Steele Johnson is a porn name.
It's a little too on the nose.
It's too on the nose. Porn would reject that name and say, come up with something that's a little less obvious. Steele.
Okay, Steele. Okay, Brad. Go back and come up with a better name. No, so, Steele. So these two emerge from the water praising Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
For their God-given team diving abilities.
Yes, it's God's work, not theirs.
Well, they put in some work.
Yeah.
But, you face maybe some sort of setback. Maybe you get a little injury. Athletes injure themselves.
They do it all the time.
Probably especially at this level, they're going to get a little, twist here or a little kink there.
Yeah.
So, they turn to their faith to help them through these hard times. And they believe that their little prayers before they go, they wouldn't dare dive these two. I guarantee you.
Without a prayer.
Right. And it's and if they didn't pray, we were talking a week or two ago about theater superstition. Right. Where you just let people do it because it's going to throw them off. Right. And if they don't, and these two, they wouldn't dare, because imagine if they didn't pray first.
Right.
Jesus is going to totally fuck them up.
Well, and it's not just that. I mean, there is the very real thing of if you do everything the same before if you have a routine that is exactly the same, that's what's going to get you into the right mindset. All the stuff that leads up to the event is just as important because you have to be in that zone that you've created for yourself.
Is this all the self-slapping shit that the swimmers do? They're shaking them arms and they slap their chests and
Yeah.
slap, slap, slap.
I'm sure that is. I mean, it's all part of
Part
it.
of the ritual.
Slap, slap, slap. Pray, pray, pray.
'Cause what is the shaking of the arms doing? They're letting off some steam, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe loosen some. Got to get
nerves.
loose. Got to get loose.
They've been warming up in the warm-up pool.
In the warm-up pool, sure.
You know what I mean?
don't know.
Like-
But anything that feels like it helps. You know, a lot of people say that you know, having some faith might be actually helpful to an elite athlete, just because, not because. I mean, obviously, it's not because Jesus cares, but
they think that.
if they believe that, it might give them a little bit of an edge. It might make a defeat a little bit easier to handle.
Because Jesus didn't want them to win?
Because
God has forsaken them?
Because Jesus is on their side in some way. They can just pray for help dealing with the emotional,
Comfort.
the crushing emotional fallout.
Why?
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because one of the big disappointments for me about this Olympics is that now everybody's going to do cupping because Michael Phelps got cupped before he started swimming on this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what cupping is? Cupping
Is that the weird thing with the heat and
it's
the-
literally a medieval thing.
Yeah.
Where they light a flame under a glass bulb.
Yeah.
And then that creates hot air,
Right.
and they stick that to your body, and it creates a suction.
Right.
And then they do this sort of all over your body. So if you saw Michael Phelps and he had big purple splotches all over, it's because he had these giant hickeys from cupping. And
my God.
it's ridiculous. I mean,
he's look at all the gold medals he wins.
well, the part of
Must be doing something.
part of the point is if he
Right?
if he thinks it's doing something, it might actually do something. Like at his level, a little bit of a mental edge is as good as anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows? But literally, it's funny because, like, cupping doesn't do anything more for you than taking the hose of your Dyson vacuum and, like, jamming that on your skin, letting that suck you for a while. Like,
Don't do it with a Dyson. They don't lose suction, folks.
it will suck your skin right off of your body.
It's terrifying. Those things are too strong. Don't do it.
Anyway, it's all a bunch of woo, but if it gives you a mental edge, you know, if you believe in it, who knows? Placebo things are things.
What does the poor atheist athlete do?
Lose. They just lose.
No, I hate that. Come on.
No, so we have to come up with different things. Now,
I know what it is.
Yeah?
Because I bet there's a lot of non-believers on the Chinese team.
you think?
Yeah, you threaten their families.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll get them performing.
Perfect. I think we figured it out. All you have to do to get an atheist to perform well is make them concerned that their family's going to die.
No, just face political retribution and whatnot.
Right,
you know,
right.
like
They'll
nothing
lose
too bad. They'll
Your
lose
father will lose his job, and
the cushy contracts that got issued because you're like a premier ping pong player. You know, your dad will lose the contract for the national, ping pong ball,
company
thing.
Wow.
It's
it's all tricky.
It is a tricky system that the Chinese have.
Now, religion isn't always a positive for athletes. For instance, there's an interesting hubbub about whether Muslim women can wear their hijabs while they compete in athletic things. Hijab wearers have been allowed in the Olympics, in parts of the Olympics. For instance, there's a Muslim American fencer who basically, she was the first, I think, to compete in the Olympics wearing a hijab.
But but fencing, it
doesn't
seem. I mean, they already have like a mask and shit on,
right? They're already. But it's interesting that the Rio Olympics will not allow a hijab for a basketball player. Why not? The reason that they are excluded is under a prohibition of equipment or objects that may cause injury to other players.
I mean, How is a hijab going to hurt another player?
How is a bit of fabric going to hurt another player? It's bizarre. And there are qualified players who would like to play in a hijab, but they can't because it's not allowed.
And they have those nice little form-fitting, like tight, sporty hijabs.
Yeah, yeah. And there are Sikh players who want to wear the Sikh either probably not a turban, but the head covering that they wear, but they're not allowed to. So it's a trick, like the intersection of sports and faith is weird. We all remember Tim Tebow, who made his faith so known and became so popular, even though he wasn't really a very good player, because he would pray. It was always about praying.
He would. What do they call it? Take a tea.
He would Tebow.
He would Tebow.
They would all, and anybody else who would pray after a thing was Tebowing.
Tebow. That's right. They actually just called it his
name.
Yeah.
And that's basically his main claim to fame, is that he has a praying named after him.
A style of praying.
I don't know.
That's quite the honor.
Yeah.
I will probably never have a physical position named after me. There'll never be the Feldman.
At
suspect.
our age, you better hope not, because it's not going to be a good one. It's going to be a shitty position that's named after somebody.
Some sort of flailing involved.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
some sort of leg that's bending the wrong direction.
Some sort of flop. It's going to... The Feldman flop.
No!
It's not good.
No, Dan.
Yeah, so what are we getting at here? Religion... I don't know. I mean, this is another one of those things where, like, people want to combine religion and sports all the time. We have fairly regular stories about coaches wanting, not being allowed to pray with their public high school students or whatever.
Who could do that?
I guess part of the deal is that, man, everybody wants God to be on their side.
Well, it does,
especially in a team sport.
Yeah. And if you win, God loves you.
It's one of those paradoxes, one of those delightful religious paradoxes.
I don't understand why you don't think God hates you.
Right, exactly.
Because you asked him to let you win.
And he let you win last week, and you gave him credit for that.
Yeah.
Last week, all credit to God. All glory to God.
There were tears.
It wasn't me. It was God.
There were praise hands.
Right. You pointed up. You did a little like you looked up and you pointed on camera.
Yeah.
You made sure that everybody knew that you gave credit to God. And then the next week,
he fucks you over.
He took away your Super Bowl dreams. Why? Why, God?
He said.
I'm starting to think he doesn't actually care about sports.
No, he's just capricious.
The Lord works in mysterious ways when it comes to sports. I just love, what do you do when you're praising God? Those swimmers or those divers that you were talking about, they won.
Yeah, they did.
But they won a silver medal, not a gold.
But they won a medal. That's all it's about.
They medaled.
Who won the gold?
I don't know.
I feel like I was watching that one.
Yeah, you're the one that should know.
Yeah, I was paying attention to other things.
You were looking at the...
I was not looking at the on-screen graphics.
You're like...
Nor was I listening to the commentating.
You're like, I don't... Get the scores away. They're covering up the abs.
Oh, my God. That actually happened, Dan. You shouldn't... don't joke. I was so pissed.
Get it away. Get it away. There's... Oh, come on. Looking at the abs. I was looking at the Speedos.
Nice timing, NBC.
Damn it. It was going to be a perfect... He was pulling it up. It was going to be... Oh.
It's horrible.
Anyway.
Horrible. Objectifying.
There's also... Here's another thing. I'm just going to mention this quickly. I saw an interesting little article about how people of a faith are rooting for people of their faith. So they're not... So there's this... everybody kind of roots for their country to win, which is tribalism in and of itself.
Right.
But then there's this second layer of, like, people of one faith like Jews rooting for the Jewish guy and Hindus rooting for the Hindu guy or girl and Sikhs and stuff.
Yeah, did you see the clip of the Egyptian athlete who refused to shake hands with the Israeli athlete who had just beat him?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I can't remember the sport. I just saw it on like Reddit and watched the GIF.
Yeah.
And I was outraged.
That's not very nice. Not very nice. It's all I find all tribalism distasteful. Like even rooting for my own country. I don't actually root for my own country. I enjoy watching Olympic sports, but only because I enjoy watching sports. I'm not a huge sports fanatic, but like Olympics are kind of fun because it's sports that you don't ever see in any other way.
Well, and if it has somebody good on the commentating desk, right?
Right.
They let you know where the drama is.
Yeah, and
they tell you a little just enough background about so and what they've overcome. Like they do a good job.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it becomes interesting.
Andrea and our friends got totally sucked in. We were watching men's gymnastics, individual overall whatever gymnastics.
Is that the one where they kind of?
All the men do all of the different events.
Oh,
and it's like your
Jesus!
Your composite score is the winner. And
is it like an obstacle course? They have to like one after another, and then
no, I think you get a little bit of a break between.
Oh, it doesn't sound as bad as I thought it was. Okay,
but so it was coming down to the wire, and it was between I think a Ukrainian man and a Chinese or a Japanese man, and they were telling the story and. The guy from the Ukraine, the way that the commentators presented the story, the way that it was directed, was you just fell in love with this Ukrainian kid because it was such a rags to riches kind of story, and he was going up against the best guy in the world, who's this Japanese guy,
right?
And it's you're rooting for the underdog and all this stuff.
Right.
Man, they sucked Andrea in so hard on that. She was devastated when he lost. Like he got
it ruined her night.
He didn't lose. He got the silver medal, but she was so rooting for this guy. And I'm like, they just told you a story that you wanted to believe. But everybody loves an underdog story.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyway, go and pray for your favorites to win. Hopefully, go team whatever.
Yeah, please do.
And enjoy yourselves. If you want to write into us and tell us why we should root for our tribe, go ahead and tell us. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
A big thanks to Mackenzie for all of her help on Facebook.
And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for letting us use this fine music that we use every week. It's so delightful.
Thank you, listeners.
Hey, thanks to you guys. We really appreciate you tuning in.
Bye!